Hello guys, Robot1 here, coming at you with Duels and deck profiles. A segment on my channel where we look at decks coming out later in the game, discuss them, show you guys some deck profiles, and also show you guys some duels as well to give you guys an idea of what the deck is capable of. And in today's Duels and deck profiles, I have for you Morphtronics, and not just any Morphtronic, I have for you Morphtronic FTK. Now, ever since we got Morphtronic Telephone released, I have been testing this deck. When it first came out, I created an FTK that I thought was pretty decent, but not very ready to show yet. And ever since then, I've been thinking of ways to make this more consistent, and I've gotten it to the point where it can theoretically play through 2 hand traps and just FTK your opponent. And honestly, when an FTK can play through 2 hand traps, that's when you have to be scared of it, because it means that this deck is capable of just breaking through any 2 hand traps in hand and just be able to kill your opponent. And obviously, one of the hand traps, as you might not be able to tell, isn't Droll and Lockbird. If you get drolled, it does suck, but we've got ways to prevent the droll as well, so it's fine. But if you're going against Ash, if you're going against Veiler, if you're going against Imperm, this deck can play around that, and that's just really insane. So guys, today we're going to be showing you this Morphtronic FTK deck profile along with some games. I hope you do enjoy it, so let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So starting off, we play 3 of the main culprit of this deck, Morphtronic Telephone, and pretty much this card in attack position lets you roll a 6-sided dice and revive a Morphtronic from your graveyard of level 6 or lower, depending on the number you rolled. If you roll a 6, it's level 6 or lower. If you roll a 1, it's 1 or lower. So pretty much all the time, you're going to summon this from the graveyard in attack position, and then just keep linking it off, keep tributing it off, to allow you to just keep summoning it back, make it infinite state where you can make infinite amount of monsters, and then just eventually get to Cannon Soldier, tribute them off constantly, and just win the game. That's the whole point of the deck. But honestly, the fact that Konami made this and didn't make it hard once per turn means that it's going to be an FTK, and the fact that you can infinite loop with this deck is absolutely insane as well. So this is the main culprit. This is the card that you're always going to be wanting to set up. So yeah, has to be up free in the deck. Definitely required at free. Next, we play our plan B, Morphtronic Cellphone. He's purely here just in case we don't open a way to get to Telephone, because if we don't have a way to get to Telephone, we need to rely on the luck of Cellphone, where we can just go ahead and roll a 6-sided die, reveal the top number of cards of our deck depending on the number we rolled, and potentially special summon a level 4 or lower Morphtronic from our deck. So hopefully we roll a 6. Hopefully this Telephone is in there, and hopefully we can go from there. But it's also very good because we can machine dupe it as well. So if we do need to go multiple times, the chance of us getting there is quite likely. And as long as we can get 1 Telephone in the graveyard along with having the Cellphone on board, it allows us to just guarantee that we can go ahead and get to our combo to go ahead and kill our opponent. Next, we play another new card, Gadget Gamer. This card essentially says when it's normal summoned, you can add 1 level 1 or lower machine from your deck to your hand, and you can tribute to special summon 1 Morphtronic from your hand, and also a Gadget Hauler from your deck, but we don't play Gadget Hauler. Now, the whole point of this card is literally normal summon, search the Telephone, tribute it, special the Telephone, and then machine dupe it away so you can go into other plays. We're pretty much playing 4 ways to essentially Lone Fire Blossom out our Telephone, so this is just one of the 2, and it's pretty much just hopefully you don't get hit by Ash or Veiler or anything along those lines, because it's susceptible. But if you do, you have other ways to go about it and other ways to get to your play. So it's not the end of the world, especially seeing as if you normal summon this, gain your search, and then for some reason it gets negated after that, or if it does get negated and you have a Telephone in hand, you can go ahead and dupe it, turn it into 3 more, tribute it, where tribute 1 of the copies you summon off dupe, and then just go ahead and special summon your Telephone from hand. So technically there are other ways to go about it, but this card is pretty much just, okay, we normal summon it, we get Telephone, we special Telephone. Allows us to go into other plays there. Pretty much the whole point of that. And the same reason we play Gizmek Naganaki, or Gizmek Naganaka, the Sunrise Singular, is because it does pretty much the same thing. But what this card does instead is you contribute 1 machine monster whose attack equals its own defense, to special summon 1 machine monster whose attack equals its own defense from your deck with a lower level than the tributed monster. So pretty much you just tribute this Gizmek, and then you go ahead and special summon Telephone from the deck. Normal summon, tribute, Telephone. Easy peasy. Now, we're only playing 2 of each because I didn't really like playing multiples. I felt like playing more than 2 made the deck a little more inconsistent, and I didn't really like that. So we're only playing 2-2, and I found that just to be the best ratio for me. If you guys test this out yourself and find a way to make it better, be my guest, but this is what I'm liking right now. Next, we play 3 Magician Souls and 1 Illusion of Chaos. This is pretty much just because you can see how many spells we're playing in the deck, and the amount of them that are actually just hard once per turn is insane. So having the ability to just special summon the souls, discard something we've already used, such as if we've drawn a second Small World, if we've drawn a second Foolish Burial of Goods, and then just draw cards to get to the cards that we need to be able to play the game. Really insane, and technically it's Ash bait as well, so if we want to play around Ash and they Ash this instead, be my guest, I can lose 2 draws if it means I'm going to FTK you. Pretty much there for that reason alone. The 1 Cannon Soldier, because this is the key culprit to our FTK. We literally summon him, we start tributing the telephone constantly. We tribute 1, summon 1, tribute 1, summon 1, tribute 1, summon 1, tribute 1, summon 1, until our opponent is dead. Whole point of the FTK. Cannon Soldier is dumb, and if you want to play something else, you can play the Toon Cannon Soldier as well, just to make it easier to search, playing 3 Toon Table Continents along with the Toon Cannon Soldier. But I only play the 1 because I wanted to be able to focus getting the telephones on the board, because technically 2 telephones should be FTK. And then finally, for the monsters, we play 2 Effect Veiler. Couple of reasons for this. One, it's technically our middle ground for Small World, so if we go ahead and literally just banish the Cellphone, for instance, go ahead and get Telephone, then we can go Middleman Veiler, or if we want to go ahead and get the Souls package, we can go ahead and reveal Veiler to go ahead and get Illusion of Chaos. So pretty much just another middleman, and technically gives us a going second play, where if we do just see our opponent going off, we can Veiler up potentially the right point, just so we can stop our opponent from killing us. Pretty much just kind of there for that, and it's the whole point behind the card. It's kind of like a going second card for itself, and also a combo piece at the same time. So it's there for that. Next, onto spells though, we are playing 3 Jack in the Hand. This card is actually very unique for this deck, and is very important, because you can go ahead and reveal 3 level 1 monsters from your deck. Then your opponent gets to add 1 of those to their hand, you add 1 to your hand, and you put 1 back into the deck. So pretty much, what you're going to do is, you're going to reveal a Souls, a Telephone, and a Cellphone, and then your opponent might take the Cellphone, your opponent might take the Telephone, or your opponent might take the Souls, but no matter what, you don't really care, because if they don't take the Telephone, you're going to win. If they do take the Telephone, you're going to take the Cellphone, so you can try to go into the combo that way to get there, and if you really need it, you're just going to get the Soul, so you can special summon it and go into further plays there as well. So card is actually really strong and really nice, and I'll guarantee you 9 times out of 10 they're not going to take the Telephone, because in every testing where I used Jack in Hand, they didn't take the Telephone for some reason, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to FTK you now because they didn't take the Telephone. So yeah, 9 times out of 10 you want to take the Telephone, but if you don't, then yeah, I'm either going to go off with a Cellphone hopefully, or I'm going to summon Souls to draw cards to potentially get to said Telephone. So yeah, always ways to utilize it, which is really nice. Next, we play 3 Small World. This is pretty much just, oh yeah, Small World, search any monster in our deck. This is here to search our Cannon Soldier if we have already got the Telephone combo unlocked. This is here to search our Souls if we need it. This is here to search our Telephone if we need it. This is just here so we can get to any card we need in our deck. And honestly, very important at times. Honestly, if we've got 2 Telephone on board, we need to draw the Small World, because technically Small World is our 3 extra copies of Cannon Soldier. And I'll be honest, the amount of times we need to search the Cannon Soldier is insane, especially seeing as we're playing 3 Saruj to Skuldred just to be able to get to the Cannon Soldier to FTK. And playing more ways to get to it is very important. Even though you're digging 12 cards in at times, you need to play as many ways as possible to get to your Cannon Soldier. Just trust me on this. And continuing on, we play 3 Morphtronic Convert Unit. This is pretty much just here for, if we've opened the Cellphone, we go ahead and activate the Convert Unit, we can put the Telephone back on top of our deck and go from there. There are other uses to it as well, where we can just go ahead and change our defense position in Telephone into attack mode to go ahead and special summon out a Telephone from the hand, or to just go ahead and special summon a Morphtronic from the hand. So it's got utility there as well, but it's mainly here just to go ahead and replace a Morphtronic to summon another Morphtronic. Pretty much there for that. The good thing about this as well, if you do go ahead and just get the Cellphone, or you start off with the Telephone, you can do a funny thing where you activate the Convert Unit, special summon the Cellphone from deck, put the Telephone on top of deck, and then just go ahead and use Cellphone, reveal the top card, it's a Telephone, special summon it, and then you just go ahead and link the Cellphone and use Telephone to special summon it back, and then you can potentially go ahead and get another Telephone from the deck from there. Good there. Very nice. We also play 3 Foolish Burial of Goods along with 1 Clockwork Knight. Now, this is actually something very good in this deck and actually helps a lot. Now, the reason we're playing this is because if we open Foolish Burial of Goods and a Telephone, all we need to do is we Foolish Burial of Goods, send the Clockwork Knight to the graveyard, and then we can just go ahead and banish Clockwork Knight, discard a card, put most likely a Telephone, add another Telephone from the deck to the hand, and then just normal summon a Telephone, and then you've got the infinite there because you just go ahead and summon the Telephone, Telephone summons Telephone, and then you just go into your link plays there until your opponent's essentially dead. Like, honestly, I didn't realize how good this card was in the FTK until recently, and it made the deck so much more consistent because it gave us that additional push to allow us to get that slight bit more of consistency to make it easier to play around hand traps. So just really good card there. And then one for one, this card is just as good as the Foolish Burial of Goods engine, because if we open a Telephone, we go ahead and discard Telephone with 1/1, special summon a Telephone, and then we go infinite there. Simple as that. Same with the Foolish Burial as well. If we go ahead and get Foolish Burial with Telephone and just send the Telephone to graveyard, infinite there. You get what I'm saying? And then we go ahead and with free machine dupe as well, guys, target the Telephone, summon 2 Telephone, infinite there. Pretty simple, right? And then we go on to just essentially extra cards where we play free drag down up to the grave. This is here just so we can get rid of hand traps. Honestly, like, majority of the time, if you're activating this card, you can just go ahead and set your cards that you want to keep. You can just go ahead and normal summon the Telephone so you can set it up. Like, it's just a way to deal with hand traps, and hand traps are a problem, so the more you deal with, the better. And yes, I said this deck can play around 2 hand traps. At times, the drag down helps you play around 2 hand traps, so it is important there as well. And then we also play one called By the Grave because it deals with hand traps. Like, we want to deal with these hand traps. We just want to stop the hand traps, okay, guys? We need to stop the hand traps. Like, we can play around 2, but after that, we can't play around more. Like, honestly, we need ways to stop them still. So, we play ways to stop hand traps. And then the last card in the main deck is Monster Reborn. This is here for a couple of reasons. 1, if our opponent at any point stops a combo, we can stop them. 2, if they get rid of the Cannon Soldier, we can go ahead and bring the Cannon Soldier back. 3, it just allows us to make more link plays. Simple as that. Like, honestly, Monster Reborn is just a very utility card here, and it's here for us to have a plan B just in case our Cannon Soldier gets stopped. It's mainly there for that. It can help us go into a Saruja Skull as well if we do need it, so it is a very useful card in this deck and can be very helpful a lot of the time. So we play one of it. Next, onto the extra deck. I'll be honest, extra deck, it doesn't matter too much. Like, I've made this extra deck in a way where we can go second to OTK our opponent or FTK our opponent, and if we go first, it's guaranteed to FTK. Reasons behind that is we're playing a lot of different names, and we play a lot of different names for the fact that they all allow us to get to the goal that we want, which is to FTK our opponent, as I keep saying. So let's go with the extra deck. We play 1 Anima, 2 Link Karibo. This is basically 2 different Link 1 monsters that we can just go into to have different names. So we just Scroll Dread. We play the Link Karibo because, well, Link Karibo can just summon himself from the graveyard, so if we do link them up into like a Link 2, we can just go ahead and summon back the Link Karibo by tributing a Telephone. Very useful there. Anima, it's a removal card and it's a different name. Simple as that, all the reason we play it. We play 1 Barricade Blocker for a couple of reasons as well. 1, it's a discard, so if we do open like the Clockwork Factory or we need to discard a card in our hand, just go ahead and get something in the graveyard, such as another Telephone to go more further beyond, then we can go ahead and discard it. And the card also just needs 2 different names, so we can go ahead and use it to go ahead and make Saruja Skull. Halki Firebrax gives us an additional monster for Saruja Skull. You get what I'm saying here. We play 1 Double-Headed Anger Knuckle, 1 Binary Sorceress. It's just a monster that can take 2 monsters, so we can technically use 2 Telephones to go straight into it for a different name while we play it. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. These are just removals that can be made with different names. Like, honestly, it's more names, it allows us to get into Saruja. Simple as that. 1 Appaloosa. We can technically make Appaloosa before we go into our Infinite, so I do play the Appaloosa for that reason alone. But 9 times out of 10, I just go straight into the Infinite because if I played around the hand traps already and I've dragged down and I know they have nothing, then there's no point in making it. But we can make it and just play around the hand traps that way as well if we really want to. 1 Access Code Talker just for potential OTKs. Like, honestly, it's there for OTKing. It can remove the board, and we are playing a lot of different attributes, so we can just clear our opponent's board as well at times, which is really, really nice. And then 3 Saruja Skull Dread, just to go ahead and draw our deck, get to the Cannon Soldier to OTK our opponent, and just win the game from there. Honestly, card is insane. Digging 12 cards into our deck helps a lot, and the fact that we can literally just make this infinitely in our deck pretty much is absolutely insane. And when we make the 3rd and we go into the Cannon Soldier, it's insane because it also gives us the free special summon for the Cannon Soldier to allow us to start tributing off our Telephones. So honestly, this card is everything we need to FTK, and I'm surprised that Konami have never hit this card. I've said it before, like, it needs to go, but they just never hit it, and now it's in another FTK. So yeah, but guys, that is the deck profile. I've talked about the deck, I've told you the reasoning behind all the cards. Let's go ahead and go into the replays now to show you guys what kind of combos this deck actually has. Let's go. Okay guys, so first replay of this degenerate FTK. let's go ahead and show you it. So we start off with our Jack in hand, which will reveal 3 level 1s. Our opponent takes a cell phone, and we go ahead and grab a telephone. If the opponent took the telephone, might have ended a bit differently for them. We go ahead and then normal summon the gamer gadget, and we go ahead and add from our deck to our hand a cell phone. We tribute these gamer gadgets to summon the telephone, and then we use Foolish Bearer of Goods to go ahead and send the Clockwork Knight. Use Clockwork Knight now, sending the cell phone, and then we also go ahead and add a cell phone from our deck to our hand. Go ahead and activate Machine Duplication, summoning 2 more telephones from the deck, and here's where we begin to go off with Link plays. So we go ahead and summon our cell phone, summon Link Karibo, telephone summons back to telephone, and then we just start going into the combo. We summon Hulk. Hulk summons a level 1 tuner. We go ahead and use telephone, summoning back telephone now. All while we're getting life points, Link Karibo tributes to the used telephone. We then Saruja Skuldred, going ahead and drawing 3, putting some back. Small World, reveal souls, reveal a machine, and then we add Cannon Soldier from our deck to our hand, and then we just special summon the Cannon Soldier. And here's where the FTK begins. Summon telephone, then we go ahead and use the Saruja to get increased attack, and our opponent surrenders there because pretty much at this point we're just going to go ahead and Cannon Soldier, tribute telephone, summon telephone, tribute telephone, summon telephone, tribute telephone, summon telephone until our opponent is dead. First FTK done because they surrendered, and they would have gone to 0 regardless because they had no responses to any of this. So first game, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Next game, let's go ahead and see how we're FTKing this time. So we go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and see when we start. We go ahead and activate Illusion of Chaos, add the souls to hand. Then we go ahead and use the Foolish Bearer of Goods, send Knight, Knight effect, discard souls, add telephone, normal telephone, use Machine Duplication again, summon 2 more telephones, and then we're just going to go through the loops again where we start just summoning back the telephones, going into other plays. Telephone's going to summon back telephone. We're then going to link into Haki Firebrax. Haki Firebrax summons the Veiler. Then we're going to go ahead and link again after using the telephone, most likely. So we go ahead and summon back the Link Karibo, use telephone. Telephone's going to go ahead and summon telephone, link into Saruja Skuldred, draw some cards, put some back, use telephone. Telephone's going to summon back telephone as we do, summon souls. Then we're going to go ahead and summon souls, Saruja Skuldred, increase. Then we summon the Link Karibo. Saruja Skuldred's going to keep giving us additional attack points as well. Summon the telephone back, and we just keep doing this, making Saruja Skuldreds until we draw our way to win. So we use telephone again. We go ahead and summon, make the anima, use the Skuldred, use the telephone summons back, then we go ahead and Skuldred increase, go ahead and make an Anger Knuckler here. So I think I actually made some misplays during this game as well, now that I'm remembering, because we made link monsters that we shouldn't have made, like this, where we shouldn't have made it because we can't use this link material, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter because we can just FTK regardless from here. So we use telephone, summon back telephone, then we use telephone to go ahead and summon telephone, we use Skuldred, link 2 into the binary sorceress, Skuldred effect, telephone will summon back telephone. Then we go ahead and link 2, summon Cerberus. Like, we're just going through our extra deck at this point. Special summon an effect Veiler. Then we link into another Skuldred. We draw some cards. We go ahead and use Skuldred effect, special summon the Cannon Soldier that we drew. And then we just go ahead and start burning our opponent pretty much. So we gain life, our opponent burns, and we just tribute everything off, keeping the loop going where we keep summoning back the telephone until our opponent eventually dies. Let's see if they actually let us kill them. Probably not, because it's an FTK and no one wants to sit through that. So we're going to keep burning them until they are done. So Cannon Soldier tributes the Skuldred at this point. We then use telephone, summon back the telephone, and then we use Cannon Soldier. Cannon Soldier burns, then Cannon Soldier burns again, and then we use the telephone. Telephone summons back. Telephone then summons back again. Like, you can see where this is going, guys. Almost on 15,000 life points, and we just keep burning our opponent to death. Like, infinite life points, infinite burn. Honestly, guys, it keeps going on and on. So that was that game. So last replay that we have for you of this FTK deck, and honestly, it's dumb, but let's see if our opponent can beat this one and if we can FTK one more time. So let's go ahead and begin. So let's see how we start off. So we set 1, we summon the Gizmek, tribute Gizmek to summon telephone. Let's see what happens. We drag down, our opponent chains impermanence, targeting our telephone, and then we look at our opponent's hand. They don't have another hand trap, so we're going to play from here. Use Machine Duplication, summoning out the 2 telephones from deck, and then we go ahead and make the Link Karibo. Telephone's going to summon back the telephone. We're just going into this cycle again where we keep summoning telephone, then Hulk, then we go ahead and summon back telephone, then we're going to summon back the Link Karibo, then we're going to link that off into something else, and we're going to just keep going through this process until we kill our opponent again. So we go Saruja Skuldred, Skuldred draws us some cards, we put cards back, telephone's going to start summoning again, Then we go ahead and link that off into another Karibo. Go ahead and use telephone, something like telephone. And then we're going to go ahead and do something else probably. We make the barricade to go ahead and discard a Clockwork Knight. Okay, interesting. Then we go ahead and use the telephone again. Clockwork Knight, discard a card, add the cell phone. Then we're going to go ahead and make an anima. Go ahead and use the telephone, draw some cards, well, summon back cards, sorry. Then we're going to go ahead and make another Surge Scoldred to draw some cards, put some back. Scoldred will go ahead and special summon the Cannon Soldier, and there's the FTK. So we're going to gain tons of life until our opponent eventually dies with Morphtronic FTK. Honestly, guys, I can't believe how Konami thought not putting a hard once per turn clause on telephone wasn't a good idea, because literally just being able to FTK with telephone is absolutely insane. And guys, I know in every one of these videos we use machine duplication, but you can do this through so many other ways. Like, as long as you open one telephone and a way to get like Clockwork Knight in the grave, or a way to foolish another telephone, or just a way to get 2 telephones on board, like literally you can put 2 telephones on board, that's FTK. Like, you can just win the game. And I can't believe how easy it is to do this. I can't believe how Konami made it so there's just so many ways to get to telephone, because literally Small World gets you to telephone, Morphtronic plus the new bell card gets you to telephone. Like, honestly, like Foolish Bearer of Goods plus Knight equals telephone, like 1-for-1 equals telephone, like Jack in Hand equals telephone. Like, honestly, there's so many ways to get to telephone and so many ways to get this FTK unlock that I just can't believe it. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something about a new FTK coming out, and hopefully guys, you are going to be prepared for it, because in all honesty, the fact that this FTK exists is very disgusting, and I can't believe how Konami allowed something like this to exist in the game, and it really just does disgust me. But at the same time, I made this, and I know showing this to people is probably going to make it worse, but at least people will be aware of it, unlike the Danger FTK, where it literally topped more than half a YCS when there was only like 60 people in it. So hopefully you guys will be ready for this. Hopefully you guys will know about it, and don't be sleeping on the Morphtronic FTK, guys, or it's just going to win another YCS, so be very careful. But guys, that's all I have to say for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy it, hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you can figure out a few ways to get around this, because honestly, it can play around 2 hand traps a lot of the time, and I do think that's pretty dumb too. So guys, hope you did enjoy. This is all I have to say. Robot1 signing out, and please don't dislike this just because it's an FTK, guys. It's more of an informative video. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Robot1 signing out. Later all.